Hey guys, welcome to a brand new tutorial for Bukkit. I do apologize for the delay in getting this out to you. Been a bit busy with a few other projects, but this is going to be the first in maybe a 2 or 3 part series on a permissions plugin. This episode I'm just going to cover installation and configuration, how to set up your groups, how to set up your prefixes and suffixes on player names. I know you guys have been interested in that for a while. I'll quickly cover how you add permission nodes, but I'll go into more detail on this as we go through the other episodes. But there's many permissions plugins out there. There's PermissionsEx, there's Group Manager, there's Permissions, and I'm sure there's many others. The one I'm going to be covering is PermissionsEx. Link in the description below as always. When you download this, you actually get 4 files. You get permissions.jar, permissionsex.jar, and chatmanager.jar. Now I've deleted the modify world.jar simply because I don't use it, so I'd recommend you do the same. But once you've got the 3 files that you need, it's just a case of copying them into your plugins folder, as with all plugins, and then starting up your server. And once it's started, as always, when you go into your plugins folder, you're going to have 2 extra folders. The permissions.jar file doesn't create its own folder. That's like a legacy plugin. It's a bridge to the older legacy permissions, so that's why that file is included. You don't really need to worry too much about it. Now, quickly going over how to set up your groups. If you go into your PermissionsEx folder, you're going to have 2 files. You're going to have config.yml, and you're going to have permissions.yml. Now, I'll show you the config.yml file really quick, but you don't really need to change anything in this. There are 2 ways of setting up permissions generally. You've got what I call flat file, which is what I'm going to cover today. You've also got SQL or SQL databases, which for a large server are much more efficient. I can go over the SQL setup maybe at a later date, but I'm just going to cover the flat file format for today. So this config.yml file, really speaking, you don't need to change anything in here. If you were using SQL or SQL, then you would add the database login details in here. But we're not using those for today, so do not change anything in the config.yml file. The permissions.yml file, however, that's a different story. This is where you're going to define all your groups, your group names, and add your permission nodes and your players. Now, thankfully, with PermissionsEx, you can do most of that from within the game. So we're kind of going to do a basic setup, if you will, from the config files, and the rest of it we're going to do from inside the game itself. It just makes it a lot easier. Now, so to go over quickly what we've got here, you've got the groups definition, the group name, which is currently default. We don't want that. We're gonna set up 3 classes. We're gonna do user, which is the the first group we'll do is guest. Let's assume that you want people to have to apply to get on your server, so they only get a guest status when they join. So we're doing a guest status. That's our first class. Now this default :true, that basically means this is the first group that users automatically get put into when they join your server. You know, if you had default true against your admin group, that would be bad because new players would instantly be admins. So you always want your lowest class to be the default true. And below here you've got where you put your permission nodes. I did mention modify world as part of PermissionsEx, which I personally don't use, but it does automatically, as a kind of rough idea, show you one of the permission nodes. I'm going to change that permission node, but like I say, I'm going to be adding most of them in via the game itself. But just to show you how you would add one, let's say you wanted to add permissions for the guests here. Let's say we wanted them to be able to access the help menu. You'd have to type in essentials.help. That's the inbuilt essentials permission node, which kind of goes back to let me get that command reference up for you again, which kind of goes back to this here with all these commands in, and if you would do a Control F to look for help, And let's find, okay, there it is, general.help. If you click on the plus symbol, it actually tells you the permission node, essentials.help. And that's the permission node that you have to add to the groups. So all the different plugins have their own permission nodes, and you have to get these from the subsequent forum sites that you know, that list these plugins. I mean, like I say, I've listed this one before. This one's pretty much got all the essential commands in it, plus all the permission nodes. For example, essentials.me allows people to do the /me command, exactly as it says there. You just need to spend a bit of time reading through these commands and see which ones you want your users to be able to use. But that's how you would add one in via the console. Via the config file. I'm not going to add too many in there because it's easier just to put them in game. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my oh, that disappeared. That's no good. Let's put that back in. Essentials.help. Okay, what I'm going to do now is add my next group. Now, as with all of these YML or YAML files, you've got to keep the indentation the same. And the good thing about Notepad Plus is it does put these dotted lines to kind of show you. So the next group we're going to do is moderator. Oops. And then a colon. Then we need to go down to the next line. And like I say, you've got to copy the indentations perfectly. So they've got to be lined up with each other. Default false, because we don't want people to instantly become moderators. That would be silly. Then we're going to do permissions. Actually, no, we won't do permissions. What you can do here is you can add inheritance, colon, and then if we put in user here, what that basically means is that anybody in the moderator group automatically gets the commands that oh, sorry, let's change that to guest. That the guests have access to. If I changed that to admin, then moderators would automatically have access to admin commands. Obviously, that's not the way to do it. You want to do it in layers. So if you have classes guest, moderator, admin, guests would get no inheritance. Moderators would get inheritance from guests. Admins would get inheritance from moderators. So they always inherit the group below them, not the group above them, so keep that in mind. So you don't have to use inheritance, but it saves you having to add the same permission nodes to multiple groups. After you've put the inheritance, then we can put permissions in. And we'll just add one for the purpose of this. We'll add essentials.god, which gives them God mode simply. And we'll add one more group. Admin, and again we're just kind of repeating what we've got in above here. Default false, inheritance, and again these guys are going to inherit from moderators, a moderator, sorry, and then permissions we will give them, I don't know, just as an example, we'll give them let's just give them permissions. Permission. I'm gonna put an asterisk in there. Now, whenever you put an asterisk in, generally you need to put quote marks around it, or speech marks, whatever you call those. The asterisk, or the wildcard, basically means any permission nodes. Any nodes with the first word as permission will be allowed. It's a little bit complicated, but it's once you get used to it, it's not too difficult. Okay, now we're going to go down 2 lines, and we're going to do a new section called users. And we're just going to put myself in here for demonstration purposes right now. I'm going to put phunkeymonkeh, colon, and we're going to add him to group, colon, and then down one more line. And like I say, you can do all this from within game, so you know that makes it easier. But I'm just going to add that one person there for now. Once you've saved that, the indentations should all be good. I think we're okay. And you can save the file. Now, if we load up Minecraft. Now, none of this will have really taken effect yet, I don't think, because, well, no, it shouldn't have. because we haven't reloaded the server. Let's make it daytime and let's get rid of this rain. Okay, so what we're going to do in the console, I could do it in the console or the game, but I'll do it on the console, just /reload. Okay, now we had an error there, and what I suspect has caused it is incredibly loud Minecraft music. No. What's caused it is probably my formatting. It goes down to this spacing, and I'm not sure if I've showed you this on other videos, but there's a website that you can use. Where's my browser? There we are. If we go back to Google, and if we go to just Google YAML parser, and it's this top one, online YAML parser. Now, copy everything that you've typed in into your config file and paste it into this box, and it'll tell you if there's any errors. And it says here, and what it doesn't like, which I'm not surprised about, is the asterisks. So let's go and fix that. We'll put permissions.star in, and you can check these before without reloading the console. No, it still doesn't like that, and it even tells you what line it is, line 19, which is, oh no, it's actually this user's line it doesn't like. Okay, guys, we got it. It's me being stupid. Basically, what had happened is I had a tab there on the bottom line, just there. And I mean, obviously you can't see nothing, but when I was copying it and pasting it in here, it was saying there's an error on line 23. And I was like, what? There isn't anything on line 23, but there's a tab there, and it really doesn't like those tabs. So you just need to delete all of that, copy it, and now we should be good. There you go. It says output instead of any other rubbish. So now we can save this file again and do another reload on the console, and we should be good. We shouldn't have any errors now. Now, right now, I am not... oh, actually, I might be in a group test. Yeah, I haven't given myself permissions for that yet. I'm not sure if I'm op, so let me op myself again. Okay, no, so we don't have permissions to actually configure the plugin yet, and that's because if we go back to this permissions.yml file, I haven't given myself permissions to do that yet. So let's do that right now. Okay, so the permission that we're going to give ourselves is permissions.manage.star, and we're going to save, and we're going to do another reload here. And in game now, we should be able to. There you go. We should be able to actually use the commands in game. And I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm not going to go over everything in this one video, but we are going to do several videos on the topic. I'm going to show you how to add permission nodes from within the game, and you can add them to whatever groups you want to add them. The command, right now, I'm an admin. I'm in the admin group as I'm listed here on the config file. But obviously I don't have any tag. Again, we'll go over those in a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give add a permission node to each one of those groups just to show you how it's done. So using PermissionsEx, it's /pex group, then the group name that you want to add the permission to. So in this case, we'll do guest first, then add, because we're adding a permissions node, and then the node name. So let's we want our guests to be able to use the /spawn command. You know, everybody needs to use that. So we're going to add essentials.spawn, and as it comes straight up saying permission essentials.spawn added to guest. And if we refresh this file, you can see there it is, essentials.spawn. So we'll do it 2 more times just so you can get the hang of it to each different group. So pex group, we're going to do moderator this time, add, and what can moderators have? They can have essentials.tp, which allows them to teleport. Added to moderator, let's refresh, yep, there it is, teleport. And we'll add 1 to admin, so pex group admin, add, and they can have, we'll give them a world edit permissions node, world edit, and we'll give them all permissions, so world edit.star or .asterisk, and it'll say that it's added to admin. And if we refresh, There it is. Let's say we do this by accident. We're pex group guest add essentials.god. Say we give them God mode by accident. There it is. Obviously we don't want guests to have God mode, so we can remove it in much of the same command. It's pex group guest remove essentials.god, and when we reload, it's gone. So it's really easy once it's set up to add permissions to and from, or add permissions to and take permissions from the groups. It's very, very simple. So the last thing to go over in this video, well, there's two more things actually. I want to show you how to do the name prefixes, and I'm going to show you how to change people's groups. Changing the group command is a little bit long-winded, but once you've learned it, it doesn't take more than 10 seconds to do. So we are using a separate plugin called Chat Manager to configure our chat and prefixes, our Chat Manager plugin. So in the Chat Manager file, there's one very basic config file. So we're going to open that up, and all you need to change in here, it depends how you want your names formatted. Like if I just enable this right now, true. Let's enable it, and let's go back to the console and do a reload again. Now it probably doesn't change yet, hasn't changed anything, and the reason for that is because we haven't added any prefixes or suffixes to our group names. But before we do that, I want to change. Oh, actually, I'll change it afterwards. So let's go ahead. I'm an admin right now, so let's go ahead and add a prefix to the admin group. So the command you do is /pex group admin being the group we're moderating, changing, prefix, and then the prefix name. So if we just want something simple, you can just do that. Let's do that. And it says admin's prefix admin. And if you reload the permissions file, you'll now see under the admin group here that it's added a prefix. And when I talk, it hasn't made a bit of difference. Did I save this? Yes, I did. Interesting. Let me try that again. Pex group admin prefix. Oh, I think you might have to do it in speech marks. Let's try that again. Yeah, there you go. You need to put the speech marks, my bad. And yeah, just to reload it again, it shows you the prefix here. Let's delete that. Okay, so you've got prefix admin. Now that's kind of boring looking, plus if you notice it's got these weird brackets on there, and that you have to change in the Chat Manager plugin. This is personally how I set up the Chat Manager plugin. You may want to experiment with it, and all I essentially do is remove this less than sign here, put one of those apostrophes, remove this less than more than sign, and put an apostrophe at the end. And if I save that and do another reload, it should change the appearance of it. There you go, it's got rid of those silly little less than and greater than triangles there. Now I still don't quite like the prefix because there's no gap, so I'm going to modify it slightly here, and all I'm going to do is just put a gap there after the square brackets, and that should put a space in between my tag and my name. Again, this is all personal preference. You can change these around however you want. Now we also want to add a suffix. Actually, before we do the suffix, let's change the prefix. The thing about the prefix, it's kind of boring, color's not so very nice, so you can also change that. So it's the same command, pex group admin prefix. Now you need the speech mark, don't forget, which I forgot earlier. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated because you have to use the Minecraft color codes. Those of you who are familiar with the color signs, you've got 16 colors, 1 through 9 and E through F. And there are pages out there to tell you what the colors are, but essentially you have to put an ampersand symbol or an ampersand symbol, which is shift and 7, and then the number. So for example, if we did a 1 and then opened the brackets admin and then put in oh sorry, I'd put the wrong mark there, didn't I? I'd put an apostrophe instead of a speech mark. There you go. Now what that will do is it should change the prefix to blue. Oh, it should change the whole thing to blue, rather. Yeah, there you go. Even my text, as you'll see. So the layout essentially is you have to put the colors in. So let's say, for example, I wanted the tag. The tag's actually pretty hard to see, so let's change the color. We'll have a gold tag, which I know is &6, and then we'll put admin, close brackets. Now I want a different color name, so I'm going to put a space in and an ampersand and an F, which I know is yellow. And if you do that, what I should get is a gold tag, gold admin tag, yellow name, and yellow text. And I'll show you how to change the text color later. Why didn't it give me... Oh, sorry. Yellow is E, not F. My bad. There you go. Now it's also changed my text color, as you can see, which obviously isn't ideal. But to fix that, you actually need to add a suffix. Prefix goes before the name, suffix goes after the name. So we're going to add a suffix to admin now. Pex group admin suffix, and the suffixes I add are very simple: speech mark, ampersand F, which is white, and then a colon, and then close the speech marks, and it just changes it to that. Nice and simple. Nothing too complicated. And you can change the colors, obviously, to absolutely anything you like. You need to kind of experiment with them a little bit. Let's say we go... I mean, the traditional colors are kind of red, so let's go for a red tag, a red name, and white text. Simple as that. Once you know how to do the prefixes, it's really easy to change them. Let's go ahead and set up the moderator. We'll do some moderator colors. So pex group moderator, prefix, open the speech marks. Okay, for a moderator we'll do let's see, we'll make it look ugly. We'll have 3, which I think is teal, like a greeny blue color, and then we'll have the tag moderator, close brackets, then we'll have a space and another color for their name. Let's do B, which I think is like a aqua blue color. It's pretty ugly. And close the speech marks, and let's put our suffix on for them as well. And the suffix is generally the same for all groups. Pex group moderator suffix. Oops, I spelled it right. Suffix, and we'll open the speech marks, put in a white color, a colon, and then close the speech marks. Now I can't actually see that because I'm not a moderator. Which brings me on to the last thing I'm going to show you in this particular video, which is how to change people's groups. The easiest way to do it is by typing in this command /pex, user phunkeymonkeh, because I'm the one I want to change. I want to change my group. Group set moderator. Oh, I keep doing that, don't I? And it'll say user group set, and now when I talk, I'm a moderator with the moderator colors. And as with all the config files, let's reload that. It adds the suffix to the actual group, prefix and suffix, prefix and suffix. So it adds them to all the groups as well. Now, because I'm a moderator, I can't use the pex commands anymore. I can do that, but let's say I wanted to do another suffix, pex group guest, for example. Prefix, I'll just type anything in. Sorry, you don't have enough permissions. And that's because I'm not an admin anymore, I'm a moderator, so this is going into how the permissions work. I don't have this permission node, permissions.manage.star, any longer, because I'm not in the admin group, I'm now in the moderator group. So I can't do anything to do with these permissions. So this is how you control what people can and can't do. If their group has the permission node, they can do it. If they don't, then they cannot. So you need to make sure that anything that you wish to limit is only available to, you know, admins, moderators, that type of thing. I think I'll probably leave this video there. I will be going over it in more detail, guys. I know there's a lot more to permissions that I haven't gone over yet. and we'll do that in the next video. Like I said, I'm sorry for the delay in this. I've been working on a few things recently. For those of you that aren't aware, I've started uploading videos to a TGN network as well. I've put links below to those. I'd appreciate if you guys keep an eye out and, you know, leave some comments and some likes, etc. on any videos I put up there. Helps me along. But that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.